Pam here with BeeCreative Crafts, and welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how I took an empty Starbucks bottle and turned it into this cute little milk bottle that I'm going to be using to hold all my paintbrushes, pencils, whatever I decide up on the cabinet. Alright, let's get to it. So I've got a couple of these bottles laying around, and I've been trying to figure out what I can do with them. And I got to looking at them and I thought, they look like little mini milk jugs. So I've been looking for something to keep my crochet hooks in, but I realized that's going to be a little bit, the bottle is a little bit too tall, but it will work for my paintbrushes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these, clean it up, paint it, and make me a little tiny milk jug jar that can just sit on the shelf. So first thing we need to do is get all the stickers off. Ta-da! Now this one still has a little bit of a sticky, it's off, but it still has a little bit of residue. I'm not real worried about that because once I paint it, you're not going to be able to see it. But if that bothers you, Dollar Tree has a little eraser that will get the sticky residue off the rest of it. Or you can take a razor blade, you can scrape it off, you could probably use some alcohol. Now, what I'm going to be using today, I'm going to be using this Waverly chalk paint that I picked up at Walmart. And I'm just going to paint mine a solid white. Now, if you want to distress yours a little bit, you can use some of the Waverly wax after you put a coat of the white on to go back just to kind of dirty it up a little bit. I'm just going to leave mine plain white. Because I know that sitting in my craft room, it's going to get knocked around and it's going to get aged on its own without me having to faux age it. Okay. So according to the directions on the Waverly wax, it says to clean your glass surface with alcohol. So I have got an alcohol prep pad here. Then I'm just going to give this a wipe it down before I get started painting it. Now I did wash this first to get all of the coffee out of it. I'm going to go ahead and wipe down the bottom because I think I will probably go ahead and paint it as well. And to get started on the paint, I think I'm going to use this brush. I was looking for my smaller one like this, but I think I have already used it and I don't have already used all of them. So I need to pick up some more of these, but I think that'll work just fine. Now ordinarily I would dump my paint out on a paper plate, but since I've covered my work surface with this paper here, I'm just going to use it. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of the paint out, not much, because I'm not sure how much I'm going to need. And then I'm just going to paint this little jar. And then I will set it aside and let it dry. Now, if you do not have any of this Waverly paint and you want to use any other acrylic paint, feel free. I have just been seeing a lot of people talk about how much they love this Waverly wax or this Waverly chalk paint, so I decided to give it a try. I think for my next bottle, I will put a base coat of my apple barrel paint first, just to give me a nice base, and then go back over it with the Waverly. Now a lot of my crafter people that I've been watching on their channels only use one coat of the Waverly. Now I don't know if it's because of the type of brush that I'm using or if I'm just not familiar enough with it, but to me that is going to need another coat for sure. And again, it could just be because I'm using this big spongy thing instead of a brush. Go ahead and paint the bottom here. And then I'm going to set this aside to dry for a little bit, and then I will go back in and do a second coat, and then that'll be it. That's all I'm doing to this little bad boy. I just wanted to do something cute and simple with this jar. Probably should have thought about a better way of holding this than on my finger while I was doing this. There we go. So that it can dry without getting paint all over me. Now, one thing I had thought about doing was taking, like if you wanted to put an initial or give it that embossed look, take my glue stick and put an initial or a word. You could spell something out if you wanted to, or you could use puffy paint. Now, I wouldn't do this if it's something that's going to be banged around a lot, because hot glue will come off easily off of glass. I mean, just get a little bit and it'll just peel right off. But I thought that might be really cute to give it a little bit of texture. You could draw a flower, and before you do the painting. So maybe I'll try that with another one. But for now, that's it. We're gonna let this dry a little bit more, and then we'll come back in. I may try to get my camera angle a little bit higher for y'all so y'all can see it a little better. It is drying really quick though. This part's already dry. Here, I'll show you with this finger that doesn't have paint on it. See, this part's still a little bit wet, but this is already dry. So it won't take long at all for that project to dry so that I can put another coat on it. Alrighty, as promised, I moved my camera up. I'm going to use a little wooden dowel. It's not very sturdy, but no, I don't think it will either. Something with more weight to it. Alrighty, I'm going to use my paintbrush here to hold my jar so that when it's done I can set it down easier. And while I was looking for something to hold this with, I found I found another thing of smaller sponges, but since I started with this one, we're going to finish with this one. Oh yeah, that second coat's definitely giving it a much better coverage. Trying to keep this from pooling. Not doing a great job at it. Do another coat on the bottom here. I think 2 coats is all I'm going to do on this. And then I'm going to let it dry overnight. And then tomorrow, it'll be ready to put my paintbrushes or ink pens or whatever I choose to put in it. You could even use it as a little mini vase. It's a little rough around the edges, but that's okay. This is my first time attempting to paint a bottle with the Waverly wax. Or with, not, keep saying Waverly wax. It's not the Waverly wax. It's the Waverly chalk paint. But it's my first time painting with that. So maybe I will get a little better at it as I practice and get the little bubbles out of it as I go. Maybe I should go watch some YouTube videos on how to paint using that. But anyway, that's how it looks for now. It does look like maybe it's kind of evening out on its own. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like when it's dry. All right, we'll check it out tomorrow. All right, so here it is. You can leave it like this, but I decided that I would add a little bow to it. I was looking for my twine, but couldn't find it. Later remembered that it was in the box with the crochet popcorn that I'm making. But anyway, so I took some yarn, wrapped it around a few times to make a bow. Kind of dresses it up just a little bit. Not exactly what I was going for. So I grabbed one of my aluminum roses and stuck it in there. I think I'll take one of those and glue it to the side next time. Thanks y'all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.